Hello and welcome! This character profile video is for the class Maegu. And what you'll see is all of her skills, the top 8 PVE and PVP skills that I recommend, her skill combos, enhancements, player card, and a gameplay video. So, without further ado, I am pleased to present to you the class Maegu. Here we go. And welcome to the skills slide. If you are new to my character profile videos, allow me to introduce the interface. On the left hand side are all of her skills. On the far right hand side is all the specials that go with those skills. And then the column CD is the cooldown for each skill. And charges is how many times you can use the skill. Hits is how many times the skill will hit a creature or player's opponent in the game. And the column damage-PVE is the highest percentage damage that skill will do against a creature in the world. And the column damage-PVP is the highest percentage damage that skill will do against another player's character. And of course you have the passive at the bottom. So just one or two things to say is in the special section, the words that are colored red means in the bottom left corner of this, it's not applied in arena. So when you're in the game and you're in the section for playing in the arena, these things will not happen for you, but everywhere else in the game, it'll work just fine. So just be aware of that. And I will cover the passive in the PvP slide of this video. So take a moment to look at everything here, and when you're ready, we'll move on to the next slide, which is the PvE slide. Here we go. And welcome. So what I've done is I've taken all the skills and I've organized them according to the column of damage-PVE, from the highest percentage at the top all the way down to the lowest at the bottom. And your highest damaging skill is Severing Swipe. So if you're also wondering why there's a green box, it's because we can only take 8 skills into the game world at a time, and these are the ones that I recommend. Now, all the remainder of the skills that are not highlighted, I strongly encourage you to try out and see if you like them. But pay attention to Beguiling Aura. When you reach level 70, this unlocks, and you are able to heal yourself every 2 minutes, but at least you have a heal. And it's important if you're out there fighting and you are in need of some help, this will be very helpful to have. So take a moment to look at everything here, and when you're ready, we'll move on to the next slide, which is the PvP slide. Here we go. And welcome to the PvP slide. We have a lot to cover on this slide, so let's go ahead and get down to the basics. What I've done is I've taken all the skills and I've organized them according to the column of damage-PVP, with the highest percentage at the top all the way down to the lowest at the bottom. And Severing Swipe continues to be your highest damaging skill. Now, the other thing is everyone always asks me, what skills can I use that have super armor, that I don't have to mess around with what you can and can't use in arena? And normally everyone has 3. There are some balancing positive and negatives to each character, and I will point out what she is strong at and what she is weak at, or what they did less of with her. So for this, she has 3 super armor skills, and that is Charm Sunflash, so it's like the 4th one down, and then below that is Charm Sky Pounce, so that's your 2nd one, and the 3rd one is Delusive Dash, which is right below that. So these 3 are the 3 that you have that you can use in arena, outside arena, and you wouldn't have to worry about a thing. So now that you know that, let's cover the passive. It is called Fox Orb. And simply, you just need to use your skills here. Probably not the basic one, which is the Fox Spirit Charm Mastery one. And I think it might apply to all the others, but use the skill. It will activate your passive for 20 seconds. And here's the reason why this passive is really built for damage, more than I've seen anyone. And that is, reading to the right, the following effects stack up to 9 times as you use the skills, and it lasts for 20 seconds. So what happens is PvP damage taken is minus 1.5%, skill damage is increased 3%, and HP recovery is increased or is given at 5%. It stacks 9 times. That's gotta be of interest to you. The other is an additional effect, and that's right below that happens, is a 300% explosion damage to one target 3 seconds after a hit. So you will notice the explosion that happens out. There's a hit point recovery, minus 10% for 10 seconds to the target on hit. So when you are fighting a creature and the additional effects kick in, their HP recovery is going to be less for 10 seconds. And you have PvP damage taken is 5% for 10 seconds to the target that you're fighting, so the target on hit. And damage against all monsters plus 10% for 20 seconds. What this passive says is it is an ever increasing damage multiplier if you're in PvE. So this is great for just general farming and fighting guild boss monsters. And for the PvP people, this is nasty to have a multiplier increase the damage you do. That'll really make your opponent want to get out of your way. So what we're going to do now is I want to turn it over to a video that shows you what the passive looks like in action. So give me a moment, let me cue that up. Here we go. Alright, so here we are. Very nice close-up of our Maegu. And we're going to mess with those guys in the back. So we only need one skill. So this is a skill that I chose. And you want to look here right above the HP bar for the multiplier buff. So watch for it. And now you should see it. Do you see it? It's a little black with the fan. And it says Fox Orb right there. And the number will indicate its multiplier number, but you can already see that. And you can see that it is counting around to indicate that 20 seconds is elapsing. So you might want to keep going to keep the multiplier going up. And as we kill these guys, you can see the number keeps going up by 1,000. I also did want to say I apologize for the sound sounding like it's off. It's the sound effect for when somebody gets an item in the game. It's just so loud and so distracting that they did it to me, what, 4 or 5 times? So I had to cut that out and concentrate on showing you what your passive looks like and enjoying all the power that is Maegu. So let's return to the PvP slide. Here we go. And welcome back. So now that you know how the passive works and what it looks like and what you're looking for, take a moment to look at this slide, and when you're ready, we'll move on to the next one, which is the skill combo slide. Here we go. And welcome to the skill combo slide. So before we get into how this works, allow me to tell you where you can find it. So if you're in the game and you bring up the menu screen and look to the right and you tap on this square that says skills, so tap on that and now you're on the skills screen. And if you look towards the middle and down, you'll see a magnifying glass with a circle around it, and it will say skill combos to the right of it. tap on the magnifying glass, and now you bring up this little window that says list of skill combos. So what I've done is I've just taken all that we have and put it on one screen for you to print out or put on another monitor and practice. Now if you do print it out, I highly advise print it out in black and white. It looks like it's really heavy on the color, and well, if it's your printer, that's fine, but if you're using somebody else's, black and white might be the best way to go. So now that you know where to find it, here's how it works. This is a recommendation to get you going from Pearl Abyss. In blue on the left hand side is the skill you would start with. So let's take Charm Moonstruck at the top left corner, and you would do that skill, and then the next one is Spirit Petal Storm is the next one, and that is a combination, a 2-hit combo that you can perform. Now I did tell you about positives and negatives for Maegu, and this is one of her negatives, and that is there's not a lot of combos to see or to do, and that's okay. It really is, because this is just a starting point of, I have no idea what to do, alright, I'll try these, and then as you get really comfortable with her, you'll create your own combinations and your own tactics on what works best. So don't be discouraged, just know that it'll eventually just be up to you on your playstyle, obviously. So take a moment to look at everything here, and when you're ready, we'll move on to the next slide, which is the enhancement slide. Here we go. And welcome to the enhancement slide. If you are not familiar with this slide, allow me to introduce the interface. On the left hand side is all of our skills. On the far right hand side is the branch damage connected to all these skills, and then there's 4 columns in the center, the going from left to right. The first one, second, and the fourth, I try to make things that benefit your character, Maegu. The third one is normally things that happen to the creature or the player's opponent that you are fighting. Sometimes it doesn't turn out that way, but that's the general layout of this. Now there's a lot of questions I want to answer that you may have if you're new to the game, so let's just say this. What are enhancements and how does that work? The enhancements are things that make the general skill better. For example, let's take Spirit Petal Storm at the top. When you do that skill, it'll tell you what it does in the skill screen. That's great. But if you tap on it to highlight it, and you see these other little bubbles with icons around it, those are enhancements that make the skill better. For example, the flow instantly reach an enemy, and that flow is another layer of damage that is the same strength or the same damage as your Spirit Petal Storm. And there's the one in the middle, a burn damage. So every time you do Spirit Petal Storm, you will burn your opponent for 60 damage every second for 3 seconds. And then the last one you can unlock is target move speed minus 5% for 10 seconds. So every time you use the Spirit Petal Storm, your opponent or the creature will be able to move 5% less for 10 seconds. But you need to unlock all these things. Some of them usually just take silver. You pay the silver and it's unlocked. Others have a red number next to it. And what that means is while you are fighting creatures in the world of Elion or Hadum, you'll get these books. And the books will be for your skills. So you'll get a Spirit Petal Storm book. You pay the silver to learn it, and your level increases, or the amount of experience for that skill increases, so you can get to the next level. And just to give you a rough idea of how that works, if it says, say, a number 2 in red, you may need maybe 2, maybe 3 books and you'll be up to level 2 in that skill in no time. It's a guess. Don't quote me on that, but at least it gives you an idea of how many books you would need to find, and it is random on the books that you get. So ultimately, just play normally, receive these books, learn them, increase your strength of your skills, and unlock the enhancements when you can. Ultimately, you want to have all of it unlocked because it'll give you options on what you can do with Maegu once it's all unlocked, and that determines your playstyle. You will play differently than somebody else who plays Maegu because all of your enhancements are unlocked and you just have a different way of attacking people or going about fighting with her. Now, the last thing to mention is if you look at Charm Moonstruck and all the way over to the right where it says heal 75 HP per hit, the reason the word heal is colored differently is because it doesn't apply in Path of Glory. So everywhere else, when you unlock this, when you use Charm Moonstruck, she's going to heal herself for 75 hit points. Everywhere except Path of Glory. So just want to make sure you're aware of that. So take a moment to look at all this, and when you're ready, we'll move on to the next slide, which is the player card. Here we go. And welcome to the player card. It is like a baseball card. It is all the slides you saw before, except there's something new on this one. So let's go ahead and get to it and show you how it works. At the very top is the top 8 PVE and PVP skills that I recommend. And to the right of that is something new. It's called Immobilization. Anytime that one of your skills knocks a creature or opponent into the air or back or down or stuns, bound, freeze, anything like that, your opponent or the creature needs to spend time to get back up and be ready to fight. And that is an immobilization. So for example, anything that your skill has for immobilization is green. Red, obviously you don't have it. And then the next column is how many of those immobilizations do you have. So let's take Charm Moonstruck for example. Look down in the skills section and it's the second skill, and go all the way over to the right where it says specials. So when you use this skill, it does forward guard out in the world, not in arena, and it will knock back on hit and knock up on the last hit. So these knockups and knockbacks are immobilizing who you are fighting, and you have 2 of them. So I highly recommend when you're fighting another player's character, you use as many of these that you possibly can, and I'll explain why as we get closer to the bottom of the player card. So you already know about all the skills. You just got through learning about the enhancements, and the legend for what's not applied in Path of Glory and not applied in Arena is there. And if you've been wondering what is forward guard and what is super armor, here are the definitions for that. Forward guard means that incoming damage will either be 0 or heavily reduced. Imagine an invisible shield in front of your character, and somebody's in front of you trying to attack you, but they're hitting the shield. They could be in front of you to the right or the left, but still doing no damage. But if they get behind you, then all bets are off and they do regular damage or damage to you. So that's what forward guard does for you. Now, super armor, this is a skill, or excuse me, this is a special that everyone who does PvP refreshes all the time, and here's why. This means that incoming damage will be reduced, and the effects that immobilize you, like stun, knockdown, freeze, etc., will not happen for a duration of time. If you and I were sparring and I got an immobilization in on you and you had no super armor at all, you're going to be knocked to the ground. I'm going to get 1 or 2 more hits, maybe 3 in on you, and that could really turn the tide of the fight in my favor. This is what people who do PvP prevent by always refreshing their super armor. Now, looking back at the immobilization section, if it were me, I'd be using Charm Moonstruck and Charm Sigil Shot, the first two, a lot, because you're increasing the percentage of how many chances to get in an immobilization on the person you're fighting, and that one chance that their super armor runs out and you get in an immobilization and you'll see them fall to the ground. That is why it's important to know which ones have the most immobilizations I can use. So, now that you know how the player card works, take a moment to look at everything. The music is gonna change where we go into a gameplay video and show you what Maegu can do. Here we go. And welcome to the gameplay video. Before we get started, let us show you where we're at. We're over here in Balanos, and we are at Kron Castle entrance. And we're here, well, because their CP is that low, 2,519, and ours is 9,920. I think our Maegu will be fine. So the way this works is we will use this auto path and have her fight for about 2, maybe 3 minutes, at which time we'll go to town. I'll give my outro and say thank you. So, without further ado, I am pleased to present to you the class Maegu. Here we go. And it's just about time for us to head back to town. There we go. So while the loading screen is coming up, allow me to say thank you. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like these videos, please subscribe, like, let people know I am always making more videos, and there is always more videos to do. So you'll notice that this video is done with a Christmas theme. And, well, it is December. So what we'll do is put her in a pose, zooming in and out. Let's just find the right, yep, maybe zoom out a bit. Yeah, we'll leave it like that. And we always have her give a wave so we can check what that is like. So, here we go. And of course, we do want to see what it looks like when she claps. Here we go. And you know, I think I'm going to zoom in at the end of this because it seems like her hair and her face is kind of bleached out. So, before we do that, allow me to say thank you. Thank you very much for watching this video. and you have a great day. Take care. Oh, way zoomed in. She'll just give a wave. Have a good one. Bye now.